Hello, YouTube. Anyways, PUBG Weapon Tier List, and we have all kinds of weapons, not just lethal weapons, but the ones that never get kills, but still. So PUBG Tier List, this is not a pro player tier list. I feel like their tier list would look a lot different. For me, this is how well you're gonna do in pub matches, like normal games, or potentially in ranked games, as some kind of casual average player. How well these weapons would suit you, and if you knew exactly how to play them to their advantages. So let's go. Melee weapons are kind of easy. I will put this one in D tier and this one in D tier first. And then this one in C tier, and the pan of course is S tier. Now, the pan has higher damage, first of all. So it's automatically better than the other ones. I think it's base damage like 80 compared to the 60 of the other three. But this one has a better skin. It has an axe skin. So it just hurts a little bit more if you get hit by it. That's why it's C tier. Otherwise, D tier. The pan also blocks bullets. One of the most ridiculous mechanics that are still in PUBG, but it's there and it saves your life more than you think. Or it ruins your kill more than you think. So pan, in its category, definite S tier. Next, grenades. Now, frag grenades used to be the best by far. They were like ridiculously OP. Nowadays, I would say they're important, but they're not as important as before, because if people are proning, you're not gonna get a kill. There's no, I don't think I've ever killed someone proning. I would say nades are, they're okay. It's like between A and B tier, but for the sake of putting something in S tier and A tier, we'll put it in tier and B tier because we got plans for other grenades. Decoy grenade, I would say B tier as well. It doesn't always work, but to my surprise, it does tend to work really good very often. Most of the times, it does distract your opponent just a little bit. But would I rather have some other nade over the decoy? I would say yes. This is for pub games, all right? In pub games, this works. Some people would even say S tier, but in reality, would you have some other nade instead of this? Probably. So I would say B for now. Smokes are S tier without any hesitation, just straight up S tier. Smokes not only allow you to live longer, they allow you to save your teammates, they allow you to get objectives done. It's just too good. Smokes are way too important. I don't think anyone can disagree with smokes being S tier. What do you guys think? Smokes S tier? Is there anything even close from the grenades? They're so useful in every possible way that I don't think any grenade has even a chance of getting S tier compared to this. Molotovs, since we're comparing nades to nades, apples to apples, Molotovs are like C, I would say. Other nades just do stuff better. I can't agree with A, guys. It really depends. They're so situational. Because a lot of times Molotovs are useless. On Miramar, would you ever pick up a Molotov on Miramar? Yes. Why? The decoy is most useless nade. I don't know. This is my list. I am asking your opinions, guys, but this is my subjective list of what I think about these. It's very slow. It leaves a trace. You rarely die to it. It can wipe out certain spots, like a whole floor of the house if you drop 2 or 3, but they're very slow, they're tough to use, they're not as flexible, and you don't use them outdoors at all. It's worse than a nade. Definitely is worse than a nade. You would argue that maybe this would be better, right? But if you're, for the most part, you're playing outdoors, okay? If you're playing outdoors, no, it's too situational. The Molotov itself is good if you get it in the right situation, but nah, I would say the decoy is better. We're talking about pubs for the most part. Okay, stun grenades. Some would say S tier. I would still say A tier. Even though you can chain stun someone or flash, it's a flash. It's not a stun. I don't really know why it's called a stun grenade. I guess because you put your hand up so you can't ADS. That's pretty big. But my problem with stun grenades, why it's not S tier, the area of effect is still way too small. So we had a game yesterday where I put a flash grenade 10 meters away from some guy in the open. Like, it was in his crosshair when he was aiming at me and it did nothing. It's very unreliable still. I wish they reworked it so it was more like a flash in CSGO. I think that would be better. Let's go with this. All right, this is straight up D tier. I don't think I've ever gotten a kill with this thing. I don't even know what this is for. Like, just breaking walls. Nothing else. Its AoE is like half a meter. And it makes that sound before it blows up. So it's technically just useless. I don't treat this as a grenade. But it can break walls, so you can break into houses. But it's only on Karakin. Straight up D. Now C4 on the other hand. Sticky is fun. I mean, technically it's a weapon. You can kill people with it. Yeah, C4, definitely not S tier because you can kill yourself. And it is a little bit slow. I think people overrate C4 a little bit. I'd say B tier. It's extremely heavy. It's the heaviest grenade, I think. Obviously, it's amazing and it creates that giant explosion. But again, very situational. It's hard to pull it off. It does get people out of camping. That is great. But they're just, the C4 is just so heavy that it's typically not worth carrying in the late game. You try to get rid of it in the early game because it takes so much space. If it was less space, I would say A or S tier even. But since it's that heavy, I would say B. All right, let's talk about pistols. I haven't seen a Deagle kill. Maybe like 2 weeks after it got released, I haven't seen this gun at all. Since it can kill people, I would still say C, but in general, like, pistols are pretty bad. And only in drive-bys you can get some good stuff going. But I would say that the Deagle is worse than the other pistols for drive-bys. 911, pretty much the same. It doesn't have enough bullets. That's why people don't really use this pistol, because it starts with, what, 7 bullets? Revolver. Oh, this is a rough one, because a revolver can be useful in the early game. Yeah, I would say it's a little bit better, because it can one-shot people. It's extremely hard to use. And you saw Wacky Jackie doing the jump trick with a revolver over a fence. That was pretty cool. You might pull something off that sword, but yeah. Glock? It's really weak, but it is full auto. And it might save your life early game if you don't find anything else. Unlike a P, I don't know. Unlike this one, I mean, the R45 and the revolver, they're the same, right? I would say Glock is, yeah, I wouldn't say Glock is that good. Its damage is so low, even though it's full auto. I think these two are the same, right? The R45 and the plain revolver. It's just that this one uses 45 and you can reload it easier. Okay, this is probably my favorite pistol because I'm most confident with it. It's easiest to use. You don't ADS with this one. You just focus hipfire, or it's called aim in game. You just use that and it has a lot of bullets. So overall, I would say this is my favorite pistol, but none of them are good. They're just trash. Oh, talking about the worst pistol in the game. All right, we needed to put something in D tier. Come on, guys. That is the worst pistol. The sawed-off is so bad that even at point blank, it won't get you a kill sometimes. Like, it's the absolute worst gun in the game. I wish there was another tier. Sawed-off is a pistol. It goes into the pistol slot, so that's why I'm treating it as a pistol. But even if you compare it to shotguns, it's still absolutely dreadful. And Scorpion. Ooh. Now, if you get all the upgrades, it's A tier. From the pistols. Because it's technically not a pistol, it's an SMG by damage and all that. Again, if you have all the upgrades and you're using it for a drive-by from the driver's seat, yeah, it has to be the best one. I think we can all agree that Scorpion fully upgraded is the best. But is it worth fully upgrading? Yeah, if you don't have anything else to do in your life. All right, Crossbow is in the Crossbow category. I mean, we can't compare it to anything. It's like a sniper, early game sniper. It's pretty good. Nowadays, it's pretty good. I really like the Crossbow. It's just that you have 2 slots in PUBG and it only works for the first few minutes. I would say B tier just because you can't use it later. You need a slot and you can get so much done with it, obviously. It needs to be the right type of game. Before it was maybe C tier, you could still get kills with it, but now with the recent buffs, it's B tier. It's great early game, useless later. Basically AWM damage or something. Pretty crazy. Alright, now we come to shotguns, and this one is quite tough. This one's been changing the most, I would say. Shotguns used to be like this. But not anymore, I would say. Let's start with the pump. I think the pump is A tier. I really feel like pump is one of the best shotguns. Super strong. Like, it's incredible how strong it can be with a choke. But I still wouldn't put it S tier because there is a better shotgun. And that is the DBS. DBS is just ridiculous. But pump is right next to it. DBS is hard to find, alright? DBS, you get maybe once every 2 or 3 games. But again, it is a shotgun. You only have 2 slots. You kind of want your long range, and your short range is something to destroy cars and similar. If you have a shotgun, it's like a 3rd slot that you don't have. Of course, the pistol slot, we're not really counting as a slot. But it's still so good in close range that nothing can beat it. Absolutely nothing. And the pump is right next to it because pump has more damage, but it doesn't have the burst that the DBS has. It also has 5 bullets compared to the double barrel, which I would say is B tier nowadays. I used to love the double barrel, but if you're playing duos or if you're playing squads, you know that you never feel safe with this gun. Because it's like pop, pop. And then you wait, reload, then you wait. It's a long process, and then you can do another 2. Whereas with the pump, if you're good with it, if you know how to peek and time it well, there are 5 shells inside the pump. So you can really make it work. All right. And the S12. S12 is like a mixture between these 2. But worse. But like way worse. Way worse, I think. Maybe when it's fully upgraded, it's better. But no, I would rather have a double than an S12. Fully upgraded S12, maybe here. I would put it like this. This is just my personal preference, guys, of course. All right, I mean, it's the worst shotgun, but there's only 4 shotguns. Okay, shotgun's done. We're getting to the juiciest part now, and where a lot of people are going to be saying, what are you talking about? This is terrible. Yeah, S12 needs the extended mag. That is true. Well, sawed off is a pistol. Anyways, let's start with the Bison. I would say C tier. SMGs are supposed to kill people really fast. The Bison doesn't do that. It has a lot of bullets, and it's great early game. But I really feel like the Bison just, it doesn't deliver for the class that it's in. And it's the same thing in CSGO as well. Like, cool gun, very cheap to get in CSGO, but it's just, it's not that great. It just doesn't do anything well. It has a lot of bullets, that's it. No upgrades needed for it. That's great too. But still, it's not good enough. MP5K? Now, MP5 is extremely good on Vikendi. You get it there a lot. And on Karakin, maps like that. I can't say that it's S tier. For me, it's not S tier because there's a better gun for me. And you'll see which one. And I came to realize that today. And it's the gun Y that made me make this tier list. I was thinking about this and I'm like, damn. All right, next one. Tommy gun. Same thing as the Bison. There's just so many better SMGs than the Tommy gun. Tommy gun never looked good. Even in 2017, Tommy gun was a meme when you got into the drop. You had 100 bullets, but it was so hard to shoot. And now they added the red dot. It's still so hard to shoot it. It's hard to control it. It shoots very slowly. There are better guns. All right. Now the gun why I made this tier list. UMP, for me, all of a sudden, after ignoring it for years, became S tier. I'm not kidding. This gun is too good. Like, you might think, but, you know, its DPS is lower than, I don't know, an MP5 or Vector. And that's true. But the UMP works from, like, the first second when you land. If you grab a UMP, it's probably the best gun that you can grab for the first 10 minutes of the game. Seriously. If you gave me a choice between any weapon and a UMP, I would probably pick UMP because it works without attachments. You can get a ton of bullets for it. It's the only one that uses blue bullets that is actually any good. Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago it was different. Nowadays, the UMP just fits and does balance really well. Of course, you again have this problem of having 2 slots. That's a huge problem. But if you can get away with a UMP, and you can even put a freaking thumb grip on it and use it with a 3x scope, ridiculous. You're a running SMG sniper, fast killing headshot only guy that cannot be hit because he's moving so fast. It's an SMG. SMG gives you a movement bonus, especially when you're ADS. You're really just sliding around. It throws people off guard because if you're shooting an AK, for example, close range ADS, you're basically sitting still. With a UMP, you're just sliding left and right. It's a completely different feeling for the opponent when someone has an SMG. You'll notice that once you get killed by a Vector or UMP, you get a little bit frustrated because you probably missed a lot of shots. And UMP, best grip for it? Good question. I would say any grip, but if you really want to maximize its potential, I would say no. I wouldn't say it needs more recoil control. I would just say thumb grip. Just go crazy with it. If you want to see why it's S tier, you can really go crazy with it. The amount of crazy plays you can pull off with UMP, but I only got to realize that literally yesterday. Because I was always laughing at it. Hey, UMP, what is a UMP? It's a joke, it's a noob gun, you know, people for the people from the bush. But no, here we go. Uzi, no. Uzi's B tier. It does have good DPS, but it's hard to aim it. And the hipfire is not good. The hipfire is all over the place. It's an extremely inaccurate gun, which is weird. Almost all the SMGs are extremely accurate when you use aim or focus hipfire. So Uzi, until it's fully upgraded, it's not that great. When it's upgraded, it's all right. But I would much rather have a Vector. Now, a Vector is, I would say Vector is around here. But since I really want you guys to try out the UMP, I would say A tier, but Vector could go S tier. It's just that, again, it's an SMG. And a 2-slot problem. For me, Vector is like... It could be in any of these. I love it. But, big issue, if you don't have an extended mag for it, it's useless. Because you cannot rely on 19 bullets. So, consistency is like over here. Let's say A tier. Just because it really needs an extended mag. The UMP does not. And yeah, Vector is a little bit harder to use. It's a tough gun. And okay, this is also an SMG. This is beyond S tier. This needs a special tier up here. The P90 is so good that it's gonna get a nerf at some point. It's ridiculous. It has... what kind of damage? Is it 8K level? Is it M4 level? It is a drop weapon only. But this thing, it just shreds everything. It's way too good. It's suppressed. It has a laser, which is whatever. It has some kind of special hollow on it, which is pretty easy to aim. It's pretty good. Way too good to pass up on. Probably the best weapon in the game at the moment from the crate weapons. It's higher than the AK. Okay. Done with the SMGs. Let's go into ARs. We got a bunch to go through. Nowadays, AK is still used, and I would say B tier, but like it's an AK. It's the golden standard of that type of AR. It doesn't excel at anything. It can rip your head easily. But from what I saw, people still use the barrel a lot, so I'm just gonna pull the barrel out. And I still think barrel is better than the AK. I love the AK, I use it a lot. Just because I'm consistent with it, but I know that it's not that great. The barrel is still a little bit better. But you do use the barrel as an SMG. AUG. And I saw some people saying that AUG is S tier. For me, it's not. It's not consistent enough. Like sometimes I get confused by its recoil because it lacks a lot of recoil. In certain situations, it's great. In some others, it throws you off because it's so different from other guns. If it wasn't so if it was like M4 recoil but reduced, I would definitely say S tier. But since it's something completely different, I would say A tier. Just because you're not used to it. Okay, G36 for me is trash. I don't like this gun at all. I'm gonna put it in C. I don't know how to work with it. It's not great at single tapping for me. It's not great at auto. I cannot use this gun well. And now, Groza, again, people would say S tier. I would say A tier for the same exact reason as the AUG. It's different. You rarely see it. You're not used to it. The recoil is, on one hand, it's crazy bad. On the other, it's crazy good. The gun is great close range. But as soon as you get out of the 30-40 meter range, it becomes very, very tough to use. I would say A tier. I've died a couple of times, not a couple, a bunch of times, because I missed the spray with this gun. It's so good, but I don't know. Groza or barrel? I mean, I would get the Groza over a barrel. I mean, barrel is a non-crate gun. Groza is a crate gun. M4. The most consistent gun in the game, the most consistently used gun in the game. No one passes up on a fully kitted M4 unless they have something better, but it's just all around great gun, useful mid-range, useful short range. It got nerfed. It's still good. It has one of the easiest recoils in PUBG for a gun of that size. Everyone shot it the most. It's just, I don't know. We all love M4. It's just good. I wouldn't say S tier though, just because it got nerfed. And all the ARs lately have been a lot closer when it comes to balance. PUBG Corp did a decent job when it comes to that. But they didn't do a decent job with the M16, which is still pretty trash. Am I right? M16, close range. Good luck. Like almost any weapon in the game beats it. 2017, of course it would have been. But now, not anymore. Mutant. I would say it suffers from the same stuff the M16 does. It's just a different caliber. It's not great at anything, and its 2-bullet burst is pretty funny. You can sometimes get some good plays with it, with the burst, but I would say it's kind of trash. I don't know. All right, QBZ for me, A tier. It is on Sanhok only, but the gun works without any attachments. If you put attachments on it, it's got really good recoil, controllable. Overall, super easy gun to use. It reminds me of the Groza sometimes with the recoil, I think. But in general, really good gun. I wouldn't put it S tier, and it's only on Sanhok, so I would love to try it on different maps, see how it works on the other maps. Scar. Scar got a buff recently. I would say it's A tier as well. This is more personal preference nowadays. M4 shoots faster, Scar deals more damage, and it has a little bit higher recoil, maybe. It's easier to upgrade. It wouldn't be fair to put Scar down here. I really think these should be in the same. Alright, K2. K2, definitely worse than these. Would you guys say the K2 is worse than M4? I would, yeah, I'm considering putting it at C tier. The K2 has a problem. It bounces very high on the second bullet, which is atypical for a 5.56 gun. It's more like a barrel when it comes to that. It does have a nice sound to it. That's the selling point for me for the K2. It has a nice sound to it, but it's a Tego only weapon. So I would say no. K2 is just, it's just straight up worse than the other guns for spraying. Yeah, that's ARs for you guys. Not a single AR in S tier because they're good, but every single AR has a weak point somewhere, or a bunch of them joined together that just pushes it out of S tier. Scar seems B. Stats say otherwise, guys. Scar has what, like 2 damage more now than an M4? I need to keep it in the same category. And Break would also agree with me. Alright, let's go into LMGs. M249 Saw. It used to be really good. Nowadays, since it's not a drop gun anymore, oh my god, it's so bad. I'm considering D tier. I'm really considering D tier for this gun. Okay, guys, would you rather have the DP, aka the pizza gun, or the M249, as it is right now? I would say the DP any day. M249 because of recoil. It has a ton of recoil. Let's put it both in C. I think they're both trash. I mean, the DP is... it's pretty bad as well. It just doesn't excel at anything. Both guns, they're both pretty bad. Please keep in mind that they've nerfed all LMGs lately. You move slower. You didn't used to move slower with an LMG, from what I remember. Now you do. I don't know when the patch came in a year ago, but it's another thing. You are actually sluggish now when you have that. But that doesn't take away from MG3 being one of the best guns in the game. So this one goes straight to S tier for me. Like, whenever I see this gun, I take it. I don't care if I only have 70 bullets. I'll make some more by killing everyone around me with this thing. It can even go, like, it's so strong when you prone. Oh my god. If you have the ability to prone, it's unbeatable. It has the least recoil when prone out of all guns in the game, I think. And it has one of the highest, if not the... I think this gun has the highest DPS when it's on its super fast shooting mode. Rapid fire mode, whatever it's called. I think it has the highest DPS. And you can get all those bullets in your opponents if you're either close enough or if you're prone. Sometimes when you crouch. Really good gun. Hard to play though. It's not easy to play this. You really need to plan ahead when you're playing this gun. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay. That's it for LMGs. Let's jump to DMRs. There's a lot of DMRs nowadays. Mark 12, my bad. I don't know where to put it. It's a blend between a mini and a QBU. It has worse recoil than the two. Am I right? I haven't played too much with this gun overall. But whenever I played it, it felt okay. But nothing more than that. Nothing special. It has a different mag size. It's okay. Mini. Now I'm considering mini S tier even. But I would say A tier. Yeah. I would say A tier. It doesn't really destroy people, but it's one of the most consistent guns, and there are players that will destroy people with it because they're so good. But the recoil, even though it's minimal, it's very specific to the mini. So if you don't use the mini too much, you will be very confused once you swap to the mini by how it bounces. It's just different than the other guns. So mini specialists, for them it's S tier, but if you're just an average player that wants to play with all the guns, and mini isn't that great. And its damage isn't the craziest, but you know, extremely consistent, and I love consistent guns like the M4, like the Scar. Yeah, A tier for me. Mark 14, since it came out, beautiful gun. The best DMR. Nothing comes even close. Because its damage is ridiculous. Okay, ridiculous damage. It's just straight up good. You can't go wrong with it. Like, one of the best guns. You can combine it with anything. In solo, you can use it as... I mean, in any game mode, you can use it as an AR. It's not meme full auto. It's really good full auto. One of the best. It reminds me of the MG3 because of that full auto. The crazy DPS that no one can beat. So Mark 14 is S tier as a DMR, and it's S tier as an AR. It's crazy. Hard to play though. Again, very hard to play, and you need attachments. If you don't have any attachments, it's rough. But as soon as you get some attachments going, especially, you know, extended and a cheek pad, you're good to go. I would recommend a compensator and a cheek pad and an extended if you're using it as an AR. All right. QBU. Now, you might disagree with me, but I find QBU to be the best non-crate DMR. I just need an extended mag on it. 20 bullets. It has no recoil. Seriously. It's so much better than a mini when it comes to recoil. I love the QBU. I love it. I don't know. It is on Sanhok only, so people don't appreciate how good it is. But and I don't think even the pros like the QBU all that much when they had to play Sanhok all day. But I feel like it's just straight up better than the mini and the Mark 12. It destroys people on Sanhok, and for me, S tier. Doesn't have a weak point, maybe in squads because it's only 20 bullets. But now SKS, this is a rough one because we have SKS and SLR. Let's put them together. Let's start with SLR. SLR got nerfed like 2-3 times. I don't even know, and people still use it. But I wouldn't say it's S tier anymore because it's so hard to use. It's got crazy recoil now. All right, crazy recoil. I can't put it in S tier. It's just not. But it is so much better than the SKS still. I like the SKS, but I feel like it doesn't excel at anything. SLR was S tier for the longest time now. It's not, but SKS was never even close to this, and I feel like they're never gonna make SKS one of the best guns in the game, which is a shame, but okay. VSS has the last DMR, which is technically an SMG. You know, the meme potential keeps it in B tier, but until they implement some kind of 30-round mag, this gun is never gonna see like full adoption for killing people. But I really feel like the VSS is great early game. The 30-round mag would make it great. 20-round, no, not enough. Even in freaking Tarkov, guys, where you kill people with one bullet, you want the 30 mag on VSS. And here, it's just not good enough. The drop is also funny. I mean, the gun can create amazing moments, but other than that, you have to use it as an SMG. But then again, it doesn't perform as an SMG. It's kind of rough to use it super close. It takes a slot away, but doesn't perform the same function in a lot of cases. A last category, and that is sniper rifles, bolt action, and this is the AWM, and there's no discussion there, guys. It's S tier. It's been S tier since day one of PUBG. It's still S tier. It's the only gun that is S tier from day one to October 2021. Amazing. Great. Phenomenal. That's it. Can't say too much. So we have Kar98 and its sibling. Not sibling, it's twin, the Mosin. And I will put both in A tier. There's a high potential to two-shot someone in the chest. And of course, the one-shot headshot is great. And they're trying to, PUBG Corp is trying to make them more viable. And nowadays, Kar98 is pretty good, especially in solos. You really want a Kar98. If you can't get a Kar98 or a Mosin, get an M24. They're pretty balanced now. M24 used to be better. Just straight up better. Nowadays, they're about the same. I can't really say, you know, whenever I see an M24, I pick up an M24. No, they're about the same. They pretty much do the same function. M24 used to be in drops only for no reason, but yeah. This is, for me, they're about the same. Not much to say there. Winchester. This is a Miramar? No. Can you get it anywhere but Miramar? I don't even know. But Winchester for me is C tier. It just doesn't do that well. Karakin. Okay. Okay, maybe on Karakin it would be higher because of the integrated scope. But I don't really care how well a gun performs on Karakin compared to Miramar, which you get to play a lot more. Winchester just... I wouldn't put it in D out of the respect for the gun. And some users that are really good with it, but nah, come on. So many better options. And the last gun, and that is the Lynx AMR. Now, when this gun came out in the drop, this is a semi-auto AWM that can destroy cars in one shot, or bikes in one shot, cars in two shots. But it came with 5 bullets. Only 5 in the mag. So it made it... Yeah, it's a performance-wise, it's an S tier gun, but actual usefulness in the game, it felt like C. But nowadays, it's coming in with 10 bullets, and I would put it S tier with 10 bullets. So 10 bullets, semi-auto, it's not even... This is a DMR, my bad. This is a DMR, guys. There should have been a DMR in the DMR section. Yeah, you cannot reload it. It just has 10 and you shoot the 10. But the gun is ridiculous. And I feel like it's even better than an AWM. Yeah, 50 cal. Insane gun. You can destroy cars. If someone's trying to run away, you can get their... you can shoot a bike easily with this. And ignore this one. This is just extra. I'm pretty satisfied with it. So a pan, a smoke... DBS, UMP, P90, MG3, Mark 14, QBU, AWM, and Lynx. Sorry guys, no Blue Zone Grenade. I'll make another one. once I realize if it's good or not. But in theory, that grenade is okay. It's not about getting kills, it's about zoning people out. It's like it functions like a Molotov, and I would say it's probably as useful as a Molotov, maybe an even better version of it. So yeah, Blue Zone Grenade, I haven't used it yet, so I didn't include it here. So one more thing I didn't include, the Panzerfaust. I would say it will go to C tier, just because it has a lot of limitations of how you use it. You know, you damage yourself a lot of times. You might die while it's flying. So C tier, but it does have a lot of potential of being very funny and making cool kills. It's hard to aim, and it's not always a kill. Snowballs, apples, and rocks. Oh man, I forgot those two.